Hi, this week's video topic is, should I sell to an investor? A closely related question would be, what is an iBuyer and should I sell to an iBuyer? We'll talk about those questions and answers right after this. Hello and welcome. My name is Chip Carmack. I'm a real estate agent with Remax Properties and an advisor to investors, family, friends, and I'm also a certified probate expert. Today's video is about, should I sell to an investor? The answer really depends on what is your goal. If your goal is to sell quickly and just get out and be done and move on with life, then selling to an investor would accomplish that goal. I would caution you to be very careful because there are investors who are looking to take advantage of people. But by and large, investors are a great way to go if you want to sell the property quickly and just be out and done. What I would caution is to get a couple of quotes from investors, especially if you can find investors that are highly recommended. I have investors that I highly recommend, and depending on your price point, depends on which investors I would recommend. The thing to understand about selling to an investor is basically they're the ones taking on the risk. They're going to buy that house and they're betting that they can put time and money into it and that the house will sell for more than what they bought it for. So it's something that you could do yourself, but if you don't want to, that's what investors are for. There's nothing wrong with somebody making a profit, and that's what investors are looking to do. But it's important that you understand that's their whole goal, is to buy low and to sell it as high as they can. And it's a business for them. So if you don't want that to happen and you want to make more money, then I would not recommend selling to an investor, because that's the whole goal for an investor. Buy low and sell high. A couple of words of caution. First off, because an investor wants to buy at the lowest price possible, they may not exactly give you what's considered fair market value for the condition that the unit is in, the house or the condo. So what you should do is do a little bit of research, call a real estate advisor like myself, or get an appraisal made, but find out what it's worth before you entertain offers, serious offers, and decide to sell, because quite honestly, you could be giving away $5,000, maybe even more, if they are pricing it and giving you an offer that's below fair market value for the condition that it's in. Some investors will actually make an offer sight unseen. Basically what they're doing is they'll do a little bit of research. They'll go onto the property appraiser's website. They'll find out what the appraiser, the tax appraiser, appraises it at, and they know that that's pretty close to the bottom of what they're going to be able to buy it for. And they will do a little bit of research in the neighborhood and find out what those types of houses or condos are selling for that are in good condition. Or sometimes they are literally what they call a wholesaler, and that is somebody that buys it for the lowest price possible and finds somebody to invest that will flip it, fix it up and sell it for a profit, but they'll make a couple $1,000s just doing that. So I would highly suggest that you find out what the value is. The tax appraiser's appraisal is a good rough idea of if the unit needs work, if the kitchens need to be redone, the bathrooms need to be redone, needs flooring, needs some other things like that, needs cleaned out and really, upgraded, then that tax appraiser's price is a good base to go off of. But it also could depend on the market, because right now we're in a very low inventory, so you might be able to get more money than you normally would because inventory is so low and we have a lot of buyers right now looking, especially in certain price points. So definitely you want to get some homework done. Either you do it or you have somebody like me do it, who is going to be looking out for your best interest and give you a range of price that the unit is worth. The two things that I would advise you in dealing with an investor is, one is to do your homework, and the second one would be to price shop. When I say do your homework, it means to either you do it personally yourself, or probably best to have a professional do it and to tell you what your house or condo or the unit is worth. The investor is surely not going to do that because their end goal is to buy it as low as possible. So you want somebody that is either very honest or doesn't have a horse in the race, so to speak. So their job is going to be to tell you the truth and tell you in your best interest. And someone like myself, that's my end goal, is whatever is the best for you. So investors aren't necessarily going to want to give you the best price. They're going to want to buy it at the best price for them. So my first caution would be to do your homework or have somebody do the homework for you so that you are prepared and know what you have in your hands and what it's worth. The second thing that I would advise with investors is to shop around. Don't just jump at the first offer that you get. That, like buying anything big, like if you go to buy a car, you should never buy the first car that you see. You should price shop. Find out, what that car sells for from another dealer. It could save you thousands. In this case, same thing. You could make thousands of dollars more if you do a little bit of preparation and basically get a couple of investors. You may be able to pit them against each other in a bidding war. It's a very low market right now and low inventory, so you might be able to get multiple investors and find somebody that's actually willing to pay more than the others. I would caution you on that, though, that the old adage is, if it seems too good to be true, it is. That's always true. So if somebody offers you a lot more money than any other investor does, you definitely need to try to figure out why, or stay clear of it. But make sure that the contract is very good. Have somebody look over the contract, because you are talking about a very large asset and you are talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you spent a couple $100 to have somebody that is going to legally look over a legal document, then that would be a wise investment so that you don't sell to somebody and get caught getting scammed. So a related question is, what is an iBuyer? An iBuyer is an online buyer. A lot of times they are investors. They are large companies who basically want to buy the property as low as possible and make a 20 to 30% profit. Zillow is probably the best known iBuyer. There's also Open Door and quite a few others. And basically what they do is they will buy the property from you. You don't have to clean up the property. You don't have to paint the property. You don't have to do anything. They give you a price. I would caution you highly, though, that they are going to make a profit for that. And they do have hidden fees. They're going to say that they're not hidden, but they're not going to tell you those. They're going to be in the fine print. They're going to be in the contract. And they can charge you fees such as cleanup fee or a painting fee. So, that's not to say they all do that, but quite a few of them do. They're not going to invest money. Their goal is not to invest money. Their goal is to buy it from you cheap and sell it as quickly as they can and make a profit. So one of the things that's not necessarily in your favor is that they're going to make the profit and you're not, and they're going to do as little as possible. So they may paint it, they may do some cleanup, and then they'll charge you for it, so it's not coming out of their pocket. And so in their fees, you have to watch their fees very carefully. So what are the advantages of using an iBuyer? The advantages are that you can get a quick sale and you have to do very little. Basically, you're going to pay for that. By doing very little, you make less money. So that's the advantage of an iBuyer, is they'll come in quickly, they'll give you, X amount of dollars. The disadvantages are you have to be very careful when read over the contract, because a lot of times they're going to charge you fees and charges for cleaning up and doing things that you could do. And also, one of the interesting things is iBuyers will claim that they charge less than traditional real estate agents. But most of the time, it winds up costing more when they're done with their fees and charges, and they're not going to tell you that. So for example, a real estate agent may list the property and he'll say it's 6% commission. Well, the listing agent or the selling agent doesn't get the 6%. What that does is it gets divided in half, and the buyer's agent, who works very, very hard taking buyers around to all these properties for free with their own time, their own gas. So when they get paid is when they find a house or a condo for their buyer, and they get that half of the commission. But what the iBuyers don't tell you is they may say, well, we're going to sell it at 4% commission or whatever it is that they're going to do. But by the time they get done with their fees and charges, they may be 10%. So 10% isn't better than 6%. That's going to cost you money, but they're not going to tell you that. That's just how you're going to find out the hard way when it's all said and done and you're paying extra in charges and fees. And then if you do the math, you realize that it wasn't such a good deal. So a real estate agent like myself, I'm going to advise you to always to do a little bit of cleanup at least and get things looking as presentable as possible and get the most amount of money. If you don't want to go through a lot of effort, then you could still do a little bit of effort and make better money than selling it to an iBuyer. Because an iBuyer, they're actually going to encourage you to do nothing so that they can charge you fees and charges. So that's another way that they make money. So I would caution against iBuyers for that reason. If it was a better financial gain for you, I would say that's excellent. Yeah, go for it because, it's in your best interest. But it's not. And the iBuyers aren't going to tell you that. Zillow, they have their own iBuyer program. There's Open Door. There's quite a few. And they're not going to tell you that in the end, you're going to pay more than you would to a traditional real estate agent. So always be careful. If it seems too good to be true, there's probably a catch there, especially if you're dealing with a large company like Zillow. They're not in this for your benefit at all. They are looking to maximize themselves and how much money they can make, and that's just the way large companies work. So I would caution you to deal with a real estate agent, an individual who might have what's called a fiduciary mentality, meaning they're looking out for your best financial interest. Legally, as real estate agents, we're supposed to be transaction agents, transaction brokers, which means we're just strictly there to help make the deal go through. But someone like me, I just can't separate myself from that. If I'm working for a client, I work for that client. And my job is to work for that client and get my client the best deal possible. And Zillow's not going to be looking to do that, and none of the other iBuyers are going to be looking to do that. So I would always recommend to find an agent that you like and you trust, because they're going to look out for your best interest, and that's really what you should want. Somebody that's going to do that and get you the most amount of money that you possibly can get. Well, that's it for this week's video. I hope you found it helpful and informative, and you'll want to tune in to other videos that can also help you. And please remember to subscribe down below. And what that does, I don't ask for subscribers for my own ego or to make myself feel better. What that does is that tells Google, who owns YouTube, and it tells both of them that you found one of my videos or all of my videos helpful and informative, and their algorithm, their mathematical algorithm, factors that in to whether they will show you more of my videos or they'll show these videos to somebody else that might be looking just like you. So it's basically to help yourself and to help others. And subscribing doesn't mean that I'm going to track you or stalk you or anything like that. It just basically tells Google and YouTube that you like the video and that you want to see more, and it helps them show it to other people. Now there is another button there called the notification button. It's shaped like a bell. What that does is it will notify you each week when a new video drops. And you can choose to do that if you want, or you can just try to find me again. But if you're a subscriber, it'll make it easier for you to find me, and hopefully I can help you in any way possible. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.